You know that feeling, right? When you're on a project and it just feels like it's completely spiraling out of control. You've got deadlines flying everywhere, a million tasks, things that depend on other things, and nothing is lining up. Well, today we're going to talk about how to tame that beast. We're going to look at a method that takes all that chaos and turns it into a clear, predictable path to actually getting things done. Let's dive in. So, why does that happen? It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? That sinking feeling when a deadline is just creeping closer and you just know in your gut you're not going to make it. It is such a universal pain point, and you know what? It often boils down to one simple, very human flaw. And there you have it. It's our own optimism. We're just hardwired to think, yeah, we can get this done faster and cheaper, and it'll be even better than we promised. It's this optimism trap that causes so many project timelines to derail before they've even really started. So how do we fight back against our own best intentions with a dose of structured reality? Well, we fight back with a plan, but not just any old plan. We need a strategic blueprint for our project's time. And this is where we introduce the key to taming all that project chaos, something called project schedule management. Think of it like a GPS for your project. Seriously. It's the whole set of processes that helps you map out the entire journey from start to finish, anticipate the traffic jams, and, reroute when you have to make sure you get to your destination, project completion, right on time. So, to build that GPS, we've got to speak the language of scheduling. And really, it just comes down to three fundamental terms. These are the foundation of every single project plan you'll ever see. Let's run through them real quick. First up, you've got your activity. This is just your basic unit of work. Stuff like design the login page, write the user manual, or test the payment gateway. Think of them as the individual bricks you're going to use to build your project house. Next, we have milestones. Now, these aren't tasks themselves, they're more like significant checkpoints. Things like alpha version is complete, or user testing finished, or the big one, product launch. They are the signposts along your journey that tell you, yes, you're on the right track. And finally, maybe the most important one, dependency. This is the crucial glue that holds everything together. It's what dictates the order of operations. I mean, you can't test the login page until it's actually been designed and built, right? Understanding these relationships is the absolute key to creating a schedule that's actually realistic. Okay, so we've got our building blocks, our activities, milestones, and dependencies. How do we put them all together into that strategic blueprint we were talking about? Well, it's a four-step life cycle that basically creates your project's roadmap. It's pretty logical when you see it laid out like this. It all starts with defining exactly what needs to be done. Then you put all those activities in the right order. After that, you've got to estimate how long each one is going to take. And finally, and this is key, you continuously monitor and control the schedule while the project is happening. Let's just zoom in on that third step for a second. Estimating time, it feels more like an art than a science sometimes, but you can get way more accurate. You have to look at who is actually available to do the work. Then you look at data from similar projects you've done in the past, and you have to be brutally honest about how complex the task really is. This is where we trade that blind optimism for some informed realism. Okay, now for the really cool part. Once we have all our activities, their sequence, and their estimated times, we can actually visualize the entire project. This is how we find the single most important sequence of tasks in our whole plan. And we do this using something called a network diagram. It's basically a flow chart for your project, showing how everything connects. It takes a long, boring list of tasks and turns it into a clear, visual map of all the work that needs to get done. It's a game changer. These diagrams are built entirely on those dependencies we just talked about. The most common one is finish to start. You have to finish baking the cake before you can start putting on the frosting. Simple, right? But there are others too, like start to start, where two tasks can kick off at the same time, like maybe writing code while the database is being designed. And this is where the magic happens. When we map out all the possible paths from the start of the project to the end, and we add up all the durations, look at this. You can see that different sequences of tasks take totally different amounts of time. The path through A, B, and C takes 31 days, but the path through G, H, and I, only 13. So here's the crucial insight. That longest path through the network, in this case, 31 days, that is your critical path. Think about what that means. This path has absolutely zero wiggle room, zero slack.
If any task on this path gets delayed by even 1 day, the entire project gets delayed by 1 day. This is the sequence you must watch like a hawk.
Finding that critical path is a huge, huge win. But here's the thing. Building the schedule is only half the battle. Projects exist in the real world, right, where things change. So now we have to actually manage the plan. And this right here perfectly illustrates the mindset you need. Your schedule is not something you create, print out, and hang on the wall. It's a dynamic tool. It's a living document that you have to constantly track, update, and tweak as you get new information and, face those unexpected challenges. Look, every project hits bumps in the road. The key is how you handle them. For all that uncertainty, you do risk assessments before the problems pop up. When you don't have enough people, you use techniques like resource leveling to smooth out the workload and stop people from burning out. The whole idea is to be proactive, not reactive. And of course, you don't have to do all of this with a pencil and a giant piece of paper. There are some incredibly powerful software tools out there like MS Project and Jira that are designed for exactly this. And visual tools like Gantt charts and Kanban boards make it super easy to see your schedule and track your progress at a glance. All right, we have covered a ton of ground, from the psychology of why we're always late to the hardcore logic of the critical path. So let's just boil it all down to the essential practices that are really going to make you a project tamer. If you remember nothing else, remember these 4 things. 1. Be realistic in your estimates. Don't doom your project from the start. 2. Monitor your progress relentlessly so you can spot delays on that critical path nice and early. 3. Communicate, communicate, communicate. A team that's in the dark can't help you solve problems. And 4. Always, always be looking for risks before they find you. Because really, at the end of the day, that is the big payoff. Mastering your schedule isn't just about finishing on time. It's about using your team and your money efficiently. It's about cutting down on stress and chaos. And ultimately, it's about delivering what you promised to the people who are counting on you. So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your own work. Look at what you're trying to build, whatever you're trying to achieve, and ask yourself, what is the single biggest threat to my timeline right now? And what am I going to do about it today?